experience where you learn something new to you, and then you see it everywhere? Say you come across a new word or a news item, and the next thing you know, everywhere you look, there it is. Like a book you're reading mentions that the characters were drinking Merlot wine, which you hadn't heard of before. And then later that week, you notice it on the menu at your favorite restaurant where you hadn't noticed it before. And then later, you take your car in to get fixed and notice that the advertised color of your decidedly burgundy car is in fact Merlot. That kind of thing. There's a name for it. It's double-barreled in German. Officially, it's the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon. And this week's sermon is brought to you courtesy of that fact. You see, a few weeks ago, when I first looked at the scriptures for this week, I was struck by how vividly open and inclusive they are. Each of them paints a very specific and surprisingly unified picture of what God is looking for and doing in the world. And this seemed to be summed up best in the opening lines of the Isaiah reading. Everyone who thirsts, come to the waters. And you that have no money, come, buy and eat. Come, buy wine and milk without money and without price. This call invites us to a world where not only are all people welcome, but also where all are fed, without concern for their ability to pay. And it got me wondering about how we distribute food, and particularly water, as there have been a number of news stories going across my computer screen recently about Detroit and the water shutoffs going on there. Late last week, a story on the news came on again about the water situation in Detroit and the people from Canada just across the lake who were hauling 1,000 liters of clean water across the border to distribute to those without access to such. And in the back of my head, again comes the refrain from Isaiah. Everyone who thirsts, come to the waters. And as I started to try and find out something resembling data about what was going on down in the States, just to lend some oomph to these news stories, I could not help but hear, come, buy, and drink, you who have no money. And let me tell you, it's rather distracting to have that refrain running through your head when you're trying to figure out what's going on in a hot-button news story. It's also a bit of a challenge to remain focused on an ancient context when the readings for the week persist in reminding you of what you read in the news that day. And so, with the Bible in one hand and the newspaper in the other, we are called to follow in the tradition of those who went before us. So what do the texts say today? Well, Matthew takes great pains to depict Jesus as someone who is concerned about the people around him, specifically saying Jesus is moved by compassion to heal those who followed him to the remote, deserted place away from town. And of course, there is also the circumstances by which the miracle of the feeding of this multitude comes about. The disciples, ever practical, come to Jesus saying that the people need to eat. And so they need to be sent away back to civilization to get food and drink. Jesus proposes another way. Give them what they need, here and now, without cost, knowing presumably that what they have will be enough, more than enough. Isaiah 2 sets the focus on acts of mercy and compassion. Here, God is reiterating the covenant, the promises between God and the people of Israel. These are promises of protection and care, of providing for the people when they are in need, regardless of cost. Now, these two texts were written to serve very different purposes. Isaiah comes from the prophetic line, and in this case, we have God speaking directly about what God will do for the people. This is an image directly from God about the world, about what the kingdom of God really should look like. And Matthew here is writing about a miracle,
something that is designed to give us a glimpse into the kingdom of God. In Matthew, Jesus' miracles are used to show how Jesus is working towards the same ends, the same goals as God. That Jesus is the merciful Lord, and the one who carries out the works of mercy and compassion that are in line with the will and plan of God. And so the miracle stories give us a glimpse into the kingdom of heaven as Matthew sees it. They are a different way into the understanding what the kingdom looks and feels like, a different way than the parables we have been hearing for the past few weeks. And this kingdom, for both Isaiah and Matthew, is one where all are welcome and where all are fed. And this is also a vision of the kingdom that is shared by the psalm writer. This is a kingdom of God, a kingdom of heaven that, if I may borrow some of the words that you all gave me this week as part of your homework, this is a kingdom of heaven that is safe and restful, where the warm summer sun shines on all people. It is like an iPhone that lets us span great distances to the people we love. It is like comfy shoes that we can walk the sacred earth in. It is shown in the outpouring of joy and love at a reunion of family and friends. This is the kingdom we are called to. And this is the kingdom we are called to bring about all around us. But if the kingdom is one in which all are fed, watered, and welcome, then how are we to respond to a world where that is decidedly not the case? We respond as individuals through our work in the world and where we give our charity. And we respond as a community of faith through where we as a church place our support and as a community give our own time and resources. And we respond more widely as a denomination with the givings of the Mission and Service Fund and other projects that the United Church of Canada supports. And on our own, we may not be able to work miracles. And individually, we cannot bring about the kingdom of heaven here on earth. But together we can work towards creating a community and a world in which all are fed and have access